And good morning, everyone, good morning. Or I should have said good evening since it's 7 p.m, but I don't really care. Anyway, welcome in this new video of mine, where, well, I'm not going to play anything today. It's just another of those update slash showcase of my progress of my total conversion, if it will ever be a total conversion, mode on Doom. So yeah, today I want to showcase the Venor. Even because, if I remember correctly, I never showcased the Venor in the first place. The Venor is this little monster that I released on Realm 667 like 1 year ago, more or so. I can't really remember, but you can find it on that site. So, whatever. I just released this little thingy, and now that my knowledge has widened like a lot, like in the universe, and I'm so knowledgeable and so full of learnings in my head that I just wanted to upgrade the Venor, because the code was a bit messy. But let's start from the beginning. But first, if you want to skip this boring part when I try to explain how how the concept of the Venor came out of my stupid head and how the code behind it works, well, just jump at the minute 12.13. If you're asking how can I know what's the perfect minute to skip to, well, I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm not recording this thing and speaking on the video that I already recorded. So whatever. I will try to be consistent, but otherwise I will just put a timestamp down in the description or whatever. There's the sort of cut the video in chapters or something like that on YouTube, so maybe I will do that. Whatever, let's start to talk about the Venor. So the Venor is this little thing, which is basically a sort of mold, a sort of yeast slash mold that, well, it's basically a flat sprite, nothing really fancy, doesn't have rotations or anything, it's just this little puddle on the floor, puddle of mold and tentacles and pustules and stuff on the floor, looking a bit gross if you ask me, but that's the point of it. Don't ask me about the sprites, I just based it on the mold. Maybe you saw that same documentary that I saw somewhere, like talking about the mold. I believe it's a mold, I believe it is, or a sort of fungi of some sort that will just expand, that yellow thing that will like pulse and expand, trying to follow a chemical path through the forest, trying to eat those little mush, etc. on trees and stuff. It was really interesting, really creepy. So I decided to make a monster out of it. So basically a little mold, sentient mold that will just move weirdly, open his mouth and try to bite everything that comes closer. How this works? Well, I wanted to make some sort of unique monster AI for this thing. Because let's be honest, basic Doom monster AI, it's not really that interesting. It's too plain, too boring, bland. We are in 2024, we need something more. Or maybe not, because Doom is actually one of the most successful games in the history. Anyhow, I wanted something to be unique. So how this works? Basically, this monster doesn't really hate just and only the player, which is the normal monster AI. Whenever a monster sees or hears a player, he will start following him, trying to kill him, that's it. But I wanted something different. So what this Venor does, it's basically staying completely still, like a normal puddle on the floor, and whenever something that's alive enters his radius of awareness, he will start chasing the thing and trying to eat it. like a motherfucker. Anyhow, how this worked? Well, it was a bit messy, because I didn't know really how to handle this weird stuff in this script at the time, but basically it's just the monster that will repeatedly call for this function here, which is a checkloff, which is a way to basically for the monster to shoot line tracers in a set direction for a certain length, and when this line tracer hits something, that you can do a lot of weird stuff. So basically I'm just calling this thing repeatedly in a circle pattern, trying to hit something. But it has a few drawbacks. Even if you look at the states, you can see that's a lot going on. It's a bit messy. Look at the fucking states. There are like 150 line of states only. No, wait. 42, 42, okay, not 100. Just 100 lines of states. Not really. I wasn't really satisfied with it. Or I should say that 1 year ago I was completely satisfied with it. So satisfied that I released a Realm 667. I will leave the link down below if you want to try this thing. Another feature about this guy is that being a floor hugger and being non-solid, he could basically pass through other objects. Not through walls though. Not through walls. Another thing that this thing has different from normal monsters is his chasing patterns, because in his C state, now I don't have a normal C state, in his chase state, which is a custom state of course, I was calling for a chase just for this moment here, just to enter the appropriate state later, and then I will call for a Seeker Missile to make the monster. Basically I was calling a Seeker Missile on itself to make the monster act like a Seeker Missile, like the Revenant Tracer. So we'll start chasing its tracer, which in this case it's equal to the monster target, and we start chasing the thing without having those weird direction changing mechanic that the normal chasing function for monsters has, which is really annoying at sometimes. If you want to make something different, you cannot really have a monster that goes straight up to its target, but he has to use this A chase, and which is hard coded, and you can't really do anything about it. Actually you can, but and when the distance is sufficient, he will start the pulling, which is basically the monster staying still, facing the target, and pulling the target towards itself, with this custom function that I basically, at the time, copied and pasted from a guy from the Z-Doom forum. Just tweaked something here and there for the calculations here for the pulling. Pulling something towards something else, it can be messy on Doom, because there are no real other variable other than the velocity that you can really mess up with. The only thing that you can change is the velocity of monsters. So by changing the velocity of those monsters, and when the monster is close enough, he will go directly to the melee state, and that's it. In the melee state, the Venor will just try to bite the target. And that's basically it. Yeah, maybe you would expect something more or something unique, but it was freaking something unique. Come on, it's a freaking moldy stuff that can pass on everything and chasing you through almost everything except from solid walls, trying to pull you towards its mouth, its nightmarish mouth, and try to eat you. It's pretty unique, come on. But despite my pride about this monster, now that my knowledge is so wide, now that I am basically a master of the dark magic, I decided to upgrade this thing. Well, actually, the main objective was to clean up the code, make it more compact, make it more, you know, sustainable. I don't know, I don't think that's the word that I was looking for, but I would say sustainable. But then I end up by making something else completely. The old Venor class just has like 175 lines of code. The new Venor class, on the other hand, which is same sprites anyway, I didn't touch them because I still not able to do much with sprites, still a shit. Anyhow, the new Venor class, which for now is called Dummy Venor because I was just messing it around, starting from nothing. I did a live about starting the making of this thing, so you can watch it there on Twitch. Leave the link down below. And basically now I have like 280 lines. Yeah, almost 100 lines of code more. Not because I added some more weird states and something, or added a lot of more flags or properties, etc. No, actually, if you remove all of the damage factors, this is even the default properties are less probably, and also the states. If you look at the states, it goes from 70 to 118. They're just 48 lines for the states, instead of all of this messed up thing that goes from 40 to 151. You know, now it's more compact. So I succeeded in this, making the states more compact. But if you look at the functions here, well, I basically have only, and I mean it, only, custom functions, except for the melee attack and the sound, or pain, scream, and this sort of stuff. But everything else are custom functions. In fact, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 custom functions. Basically, the monster does almost the same thing, but better. How does this work, you might ask? Probably you don't, but I will tell you anyway. So, first thing, the Venor spawns, and it just, like I said, a puddle on the floor. And he needs to get a target. So instead of doing this weird stuff of using a checkloff inside of the state and then return the C state if I get a target out, if actually the checkloff returns true, so I get a target out of it, and if I have... No, I'm just using a custom function here, like pro players do. This one. This will handle the target acquiring thing for the Venor. We'll create an area around the Venor, and whoever enters this area will become the target of the Venor. I'm using block things iterator, and we create this fucking area here with the radius that I want. And if I have some actor that needs to be alive, needs to be shootable, needs to be a monster or a player, and not dormant, and doesn't have the no-clip flag, and most important, it's not himself, then that victim, or the actor that enters the area, will become the target of the Venor and also the Tracer. Tracer because I'm using again the a Seeker missile. And a Seeker missile to work needs a Tracer, and it basically works like a normal A-look function. So if I have a Tracer and a target, so if I acquire the proper thing, I will play the C sound and return to the state that I want. In this case, I will go to the wake state, which is basically a holding state, just to give the target of the Venor a bit more time to escape or to notice that this thing wake up. And after that I will enter the C state, and in the C state I will have my chasing function, again custom function here, which is a bit more complicated. It's a bit more long, and this will handle not only the movement of the Venor, which is just the last part of all of this, but it will also handle when entering the melee state, when entering the pulling state, and when entering the missile state. Because yes, this thing does not only have the pulling thing and of course the biting stuff, but also a new missile state that I will show later. And how does this work? Easy. Again, if the target is there and is alive, I will face the target. I will check if the Venor is inside the map, because you know the Venor, this version of the Venor has the no clip flag, so it can pass through fucking everything. No solid wall will freaking save the player from this thing. So that's what I wanted in the first place, something that will constantly chase the freaking player or anything else through everything in the map. You cannot escape this thing, you need to kill it if you want to survive, otherwise you're dead, whatever. And it's not that hard to kill anyway, it only just has 100 health, a couple of few shots and he's dead, but whatever, it will chase you through anything. So first I need to check if the Venor is inside the map, because I don't want the Venor to start any other state if the Venor is inside the void, because otherwise it will cause some problem, you know? And then I will check if I can see the target, and if it's inside, of course, the range that I want to. If everything is alright, then the Venor will stop. I need to use a stop because, again, it's a missile, it's a function that will change the velocity of the thing, and it's not like a chase that basically teleports the thing around based on the speed. So I need to stop the Venor and enter in the proper state, depending on what I want. In this case, if the melee range is correct, enter the melee state. Otherwise, if the target is pretty close, enter the pulling state. And if the target is pretty far away, go to the missile state. And that's it, and that's 4. And this is just the chasing function. And if everything is correct, we'll enter the proper state, or we'll enter, if for example the target dies or whatever, this little guy will enter the idle state, or in my case, the spawn state. Now, I will skip the kill grabbers for now, which is just a little debugging function, let's call it like that. Now it's time for a void pull, because when entering not the melee state but the pulling state, I need the pulling function. The pulling function is handled by a void pull, which is possibly no, it's not actually, but it was really tricky to make this function, and as you can see it's pretty long. Again, I will check again for the target, if it's alive, if it's shootable. If it doesn't have the don't trust flag, you know, what's the point of having the don't trust flag if the thing can be trusted? It doesn't have the boss, because I don't want the Venor to drag bosses, because it would be pretty too much overpowered. And if the distance is alright again, then I will first spawn the grabbers, which are the hands. Because even the original Venor will spawn these little hands from the ground that will mimic a sort of void hands that try to grab the player or the target and drag him to hell, or in this case to the Venor's mouth, or something like that. I just copied these little lines from the vile target function, which is the function that handles the fire spawning in front of the player, of the target or the archway, whatever. Because I couldn't use a vile target because I needed some tweaks, but also I wanted something unique. You know, the Venor is a creepy kind of monster. I don't want the player to feel the creepiness. So I made the target face the fucking Venor. I forcibly make the target facing the Venor face. It doesn't have a face, the Venor mouth. Then I will have my pulling. It was pretty annoying because I had to do a lot of calculations here, because again I wanted the pull to be stronger when closer to the Venor itself, and weaker when closer to the maximum range available for the function to work. And so I started to play with the numbers and the variables here. I'm having a variable here, which is the force, that will be divided by the target mass plus 1000 multiplied by 1000. This is here basically to give the Venor a sort of cap limit for, let's say, heavy actor to be pulled in. And then we have my velocity count in here. That's it for the pulling. Then I have another variable here, which will handle the blend, because I want that when the player, because this is just something that a player can have, the screen blending. A monster cannot have a screen, hopefully. The closer the player gets to the Venor, the more the screen will become black. When the target of the Venor will enter the right range, then I will stop the target, so stopping the pulling. I will again set the blend if it's a player, and start the sound, the attack sound, and return to the attack state, in this case the melee state. But I need to handle the grabbers. So if the grabbers are still there when this function returns, when basically the target is dead or the target is no more shootable or whatever, I need to kill the grabbers, because the grabbers now are handled by this actor here, this simple actor here. It's really a simple actor, it doesn't have any function, it does nothing. It only has a spawn, a custom state and a dead state, nothing else. Instead, in the old Venor, I had like, here we go, 3 actors to handle the heads. Basically, the first actor will handle the emerging from the ground thing. This will be the looping animation for the hands, and this will be the sinking hands. Because I didn't know how to handle all of them together, but now I know. So I only have one actor here that will be handled all together by calling functions directly through these custom functions. And I'm calling a kill grabbers, which is again a custom function here that will check if the grabbers are there, and they will kill him. So they will enter the dead state. That will just mean that they will sink back to the floor and enter in the C state if anything else fails. Now I have the void grab. Void grab, oh my god. Void grab. I wrote it down like yesterday, this function here. I didn't really know if I could make it. This thing is basically to make the famous missile attack, new missile attack for the Venor, which is if the target is too far away from the Venor, because now the Venor is pretty fucking slow. If the target is too far away, and for example behind the walls, etc., not really reachable, then the Venor will call this function, which will drag the target through the floor and will spawn it back closer to the Venor itself. Seems like magic. I don't know if you're excited like me to think that I made it work, but yeah, this is exactly what it does. I need to check again for the target for all the things that I care. And then I need to create a new dummy actor here. This is necessary because when I'm spawning the target in a new location, I need to check if that new location is fitting for the target, because I don't want the Venor to spawn something inside the void or inside other objects or inside don't know, walls and whatever. So I need to make a lot of stuff here. I need to spawn this new actor that will inherit basically the size of the target of the Venor, and check if this actor that now has the size, so the hitbox of the target of the Venor, is in a good spot. If this returns true, if the position is right, then we'll enter this part of the function, and we'll call for a drag down, another custom function that I wrote, which is here, that will just handle the dragging through the floor thing. Now wait, this is about this is to drag it down. It's not that easy to drag into the floor stuff. I thought it was, but then again I just remembered that nothing enters through the floor. Not even if the player has the no-clip flag. When you enter the no-clip, when you use the no-clip cheat in Doom, you cannot go through the fucking floor. You can just go through walls, but your feet will be anchored to the fucking floor. You cannot really do that. Even if you're using the fly cheat, you won't be able to go through ceiling or through the floor. You can do nothing about it. And that was challenging. That was fucking challenging. Until I found out that anything that has the no interaction flag can fucking go through everything. Because now, with this function here, I can give the target the no interaction flag, unlink the target from the block maps, and basically make him fall through the stupid floor. With the set the origin, basically I'm teleporting the target 2 units at a time at the bottom until it reaches a certain point. And that's it. It's amazing. It's something really great. Again, I'm stopping the target so it doesn't really move when I'm dragging it down, because otherwise it can become a bit messy. And then setting the pain state, because this is necessary especially for monsters, because the monsters are not affected by the A stop, because these will just block everything that has a velocity, but monsters doesn't usually have a velocity. Again, like I said, they use the speed thing differently from the player, so it's not. I need to set the pain state so they will just get stuck into the pain state while being dragged down. And when dragged down, I will need again to check something, and which is when I want to teleport the thing. Well, I want to teleport the thing when they've been dragged into a certain point of the floor. Because otherwise, the player has a view height, and if the player gets under the floor, he will be able to see through the walls, and I don't want that. So when the target is dragged into the floor for a certain amount, which is in this case, it's basically the height of the target divided by 4 multiplied by 3, then it will start the teleportation stuff. Again, I set in back again the blending thing, because it's cool. I will spawn the grabbers again, and if I have the grabbers, and when I reach the proper height, when I want the teleport to happen, then we'll teleport the target to the position when the Venor was testing the dummy actor, if it was alright, of course. Then I will then again kill the grabbers, because I need to no, not killing the grabbers. I'm aborting the grab. Aborting the grab is basically removing all of these weird flags, and basically I'm making the target be able to interact with the world again. And I will teleport the grabbers in front of the player or the target again, so into the new location. And then I will kill the hands, because I don't need them anymore. And that's it. Then the Venor will enter the C state, because now the target is a lot closer and the Venor is able to reach it. Now it's time to show you in-game, because it's already been past like 40 minutes with me talking. So maybe it wasn't really 12 and 13 seconds away. And here we are on Ultimate Doom Builder, ready to test this out. So, here we go. In my testing map I have all of this set up here just to test the Venor. The little skeleton over there, it's dormant, so don't worry about it for now. I will test it later. But as you can see, the Venor is just this little thing is splat on the floor. Completely still, completely dormant. But when I enter its range, it will awake and will start pulling towards himself and bite me. Fuck. Anyhow, as you can see, the little pulling thing will just not only pull the player, in this case the target, but it will also turn my view. See, trying to escape it. It's not... when I'm looking on the other side, it will start... See, I'm not the one who's turning around. It's directly the Venor, the function that handles the pulling. And will, like I said, become stronger the closer I am. It will spawn the hands that will mimic the pulling stuff and try to bite me when I enter this melee range. So that's it. So now, when this thing tries to follow you and pulling you, you will be able to look at this little thing trying to eat you. That's pretty ominous. You'll be forced to watch it while eating your legs, basically. But then, let's test this out, this thing following me. Please follow. Please follow. You think you can escape? No, you can't. You can't escape from the Venor. Will start pulling you, but you can escape if you're strong enough. And then he will start chasing you from everywhere. Because he can pass through everything. Of course, when the Venor is on top of ledges like this one, that usually the player cannot reach, he won't even try to pull you, as you can see. Unless he is, of course, at the same height of you. Leave me fucking alone. As you can see, he won't even try to pull me, unless he comes closer. But if the Venor comes over something that the player can reach by jumping in this case, then he will try to bite you. Trying to escape the thing. Try to escape the thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Try to escape. Try to escape. I can't escape it. And it will try to bite you again. But now it's time to test not only this thing, but to test the possibility of the Venor to pass through walls. So follow me. Just going through stairs. As you can see, this is a solid wall. And he can pass through everything and chasing you constantly. You won't be able to escape this fucking thing, dude. Just throw it away. There's no way you can escape it. Poof! And you're dead. Anyhow, it's... Oh, ouch! Fucking asshole. It's time to test its missile state. The dragging into the floor thing. This new thing that I added to this stuff. So, I need to be pretty far away for it to work. But then again, when I'm over here, poof, into the ground and coming closer. Doesn't matter where I am. If I am pretty far away, even if he doesn't see me, he will teleport me and... Ah! Jesus Christ. You can even make it teleport you into possibly nice locations, like the Archval jump. Even if, you know, it's not really ideal to... Oh my god, to use that as a secret, so don't do that, people, please. That's annoying. But again, you're not safe. You're not safe. It doesn't matter where you run. The Venor will chase you and will drag you to hell. Unless you kill him. Poof! Because it's pretty easy to kill. But now let's basically die. Oh. I need to... Ouch. Okay, let's kill me. Come on. Neat. Ice me and become... actually, I never tested if the no target flag will work. I believe it won't. So let me just see. Resurrect. Yeah, it won't. Fuck. Okay. Okay, there's something to be done here. Let's start the map again then. Map. Oh, no, wait. Is TST01. No, it's not map. It's map TST01. Here we go. Let's start this again. And let's test the Venor versus other actors. So let's wake the skeleton. The Venor will awake, drag the skeleton, and will try to eat him straight away. Not even asking me for permission. Although, like I said, the Venor is pretty weak, so he's dead. Apparently the skeleton is pretty strong with his little copper sword. Even though that was unexpected. Anyhow, it worked. And one bonus thing that I added is these little hands now can move, can just move away. You can, poof, squash them, but they will try to move away from the player. And that's the little thing that I wanted to add, because it adds some sort of meme to it. But that's basically it for now. I will probably change the Venor, instead of being a flat sprite, to a model, because as you can see, flat sprites have their drawbacks. As you can see, there's a little puzzle in here that will just disappear because of how flat sprites are rendered, and that's fucking annoying. But whatever. That's it. That's the Venor for now, for you guys. The new Venor. I don't even know if I will update the old Venor on Realm 667 with this one, because it's... can you please stop? Here we go. Because this is basically a new actor, and I don't know if it will fit with the old Venor, and it will fit normal Doom actually, or any other of the 3 games. So, Doom, Sprite, and Hex, and slash Heretic. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll see if I release this thing or not. But that's it for now. I hope this has been interesting to see. Or funny at least. So we'll see you back on something, I don't know, whatever I will bring out later, but whatever. This was the new Venor. I hope it will haunt also your dreams. Not only mine, because this is bright nightmare fueling.